Hello there and welcome back. In this Photoshop tutorial I'm going to teach you how to make Charlie Sheen look pretty. Um, Pretty much what I'm going to show you how to do is just to do some simple effects in Photoshop that can enhance the lowlights and the highlights and shadows and whatnot of a photo that can really make your photo pop. You can use in your posters or whatever. As you can see, the first thing I did was I made a copy of my background layer, and I made my background layer invisible. So what I did is I just drug my background layer into my new layers and made this copy, and that's what I'm going to be working on top of so that I don't affect this background layer. I always like to do that. First thing that I want to do is make another new layer, and I'm just going to leave it named Layer 1 because there's not going to be very many layers. The first thing that I want to do is, after I made the layer, is change the mode to overlay. And I actually saw this effect in a different tutorial somewhere long ago, and I don't remember where it is or what they called the effect. So, and I'm sure that I do a few things a little bit differently too. So we're just going to I'll find something, figure out something to name it after we finish. Anyway, what you should do now is get your brush tool and make sure that the hardness is set. I like to pretty much set it to 0 on the hardness, and set the opacity to about 15. You can set the opacity here, or you could set the opacity here, or you could do it with the flow. Mess around with it, see what you like better. I like to use the opacity. And make sure that you're set to white and black down here, because what we're going to do now is brush in the light areas, or the areas that you want to be lighter, in white, and the darker areas in black. And I'm going to start with the dark areas because I think that's always a little easier to kind of pick them out. There's one right here. You can see what that's doing already. You're just enhancing, really, is what you're doing. Get around the eyes a little bit. Let's see, maybe we'll make this side of the face a little darker. Something like that, real kind of subtle. That might even be a little too much. We'll see when we're done. It's almost better if you can't even tell that you've done this, that you don't notice a big difference right now, because in the next step that we'll be doing, it'll really bring these out. So you almost don't really even want to notice the difference here. And then when you get done doing the areas that you want to make a little darker, go ahead and switch your brush over to white, which you can do by pressing X on the keyboard, or you can just select the toggle here, and then you color in the areas that you want a little bit lighter. The tops of the cheeks, the shiny forehead, chin. Don't go overboard. Like I said, you're going to be enhancing these a little bit more in the next step. So, okay, maybe a little bit in the hair there. On the neck. Okay. Let's just call that good. And, you can do a little bit more on your own, but we're going to call that good for now. Like I said, in the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to your adjustment layers here, and you're going to make a hue and saturation adjustment layer. And we're going to go ahead and make another one. Well, let's hold off. Let's do with this one first. Let's take the saturation, which that hue and saturation adjustment layer should have popped up, and let's desaturate the photo. And pretty much you have to do it based on your photo. I'm going to go about 30 or so here. You can see it makes them look almost a little, ghastly or something. And what we want to do is, since this is masked, we're going to go in and we're going to mask in we're going to delete the mouth area so that you can see his lip color. Oh, looks like I got my opacities way down. Let's make that back to 100%. And let's color, it's just so you can bring the lips back in, the color of the lips. Or anything else, like maybe the eye color, the brown in the eyes you want. So, yeah, that's probably pretty good. You can pick and choose areas that well, at least I don't like that. But, pretty much, you just don't want to lose the color in the lips, because that'll really pop out later. The next thing that you do after you make a hue and saturation, and you can change, you can do whatever you want with the colors and the lightness and whatnot, but, just play around, whatever. But I'll leave it at 0, and -30 for saturation, and 0. And we're going to go down to the make a new adjustment layer again, and we're going to do a curves adjustment layer. And I always like to make 3 points: one in the middle, one in the top, one in the bottom. One in the top we're going to move up a little bit and to the right. One in the bottom we're going to move down a little bit and to the left. And one in the middle we're going to go ahead and bring that up and to the right just a little bit too. And I'm thinking I want to bring this one down a hair. Something kind of like that. It's starting to look pretty good. Subtlety is always better. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do a big no-no here. I don't like this white background. My big no-no is to save time, I'm just going to use the magic wand and select the background, and I'm going to change it to like maybe a dark blue. We'll see what that looks like. See, that's another no-no. Let's not do 2 no-nos, and let's make another layer for the background at least. We'll just call it blue. Well, that looks pretty bad. Yeah, forget I did that. We won't do that. Okay. So now we've got our curves there, our hue and saturation layer. If you want to, if you think your curves layer is a little too strong, you can bump it down like 75% or so. Whatever. And if you think your brightness is if you think it's too bright, you can take it down, make it a little darker. Keep in mind that you're only darkening up that part, so if you brushed in the lips like I did, that's going to create problems, so we won't do that. But you could make your background copy darker if you want by going to Image, Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast, and you could make the brightness down a little lower, like that. And that's starting to look pretty good, actually. Why don't we go ahead and leave it there. If you wanted to continue going on, you could take some of your stamp tools, your clone stamp or your healing stamp, and get rid of some of these wrinkles if you want, but that's pretty much on a picture-by-picture basis. This is looking a lot better than it did before, and this is really what I wanted to show you. You can see that the lowlights, the shadows really pop, and the highlights are really popping too. And I can show you by going to my history and showing you what it looked like in the beginning, and showing you what we have in the end. And you can see a lot of these type of effects used in posters and stuff all over the place. Once again, this one probably would need a little bit more work, but you can kind of see the direction that it's going in. It looks pretty good. It looks a lot better than it did. So it kind of gives you an idea what you can do anyway. So I hope you learned something. And that's it for this tutorial. Please tell your friends, subscribe, yada yada yada.